What's up guys, Chris Solo here, and today I'm going to be covering, in many different ways, Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. Now specifically, I'm going to be talking about the two legs that just happened in the Champions League, the first leg and the second leg. Now the game, more or less, ended after the Cubarsí red card. Now, I'm going to go over why we lost, which there's multiple reasons, not just one. Why we lost, what we can do to change what needs to change, so we can finally win this competition again. And then I'll also go over the referee decisions for both sides, because if you're gonna cover everything that if you're gonna cover everything that affected one club, you need to cover everything that affected the other club. You need to look at it holistically. Okay, I'm not gonna cherry pick. So for the first leg, which is a quick run over, we're down 2-0, right? That's the end of the game. We have a Cubarsí red card. That red card is a product of the high line. Okay, we are putting these situations over and over again. Defenders are either forced to let them go, which I think is what Cubarsí should have done. Because let's say the attacker does score. The attacker scores, we're down 1-0. We still have 11 men. Cubarsí, they get a red card, and then Alvarez scored from free kick. So that's on Cubarsí for not letting go. But the tactics, our defensive structure and the tactics always put our defenders in jeopardy. So that's the first leg. That's pretty much all you need to know, okay? I'll talk about the referee, whatever, later. Second leg. The first 20 minutes, the first 20-ish minutes before Fermin gets hurt, phenomenal. Some of the best I've ever seen. Okay, the pressing, the intensity, the urgency. You could feel the urgency, right? 2 goals in like 20 minutes. That's insane, especially considering that we could have been up 3 or 4 if we put away all our chances. Yamal, that was insane from Yamal. Ferran, he absolutely blew me away. I know. No, there's no Barca fan that thought that Ferran could do that. Even if you always believed in him, there's no way you're thinking, oh, Ferran is gonna potentially score a hat trick, have a masterclass, okay? Him having the brace against Espanyol couldn't have come at a better time yet, or one of his best performances ever. Then Fermin gets hurt, and then the game slows down for us. Okay, we eventually concede the goal. Why? Product of the high line again. Why are we playing such a high line when we're up 2-0, right? The game is tied. You're playing such a high line. Why are Koundé and I think it was Gerard Martin in Atletico's half? Why? I just don't understand it. Okay? Now, we've covered all the bases basically. You know the drill. At the end, Atletico won by 1 goal, which shows how much defense matters. Now, why we lost? First of all, performance. First leg, you're down to 10 men. You're at an obvious disadvantage. The Cubarsí error leads to a goal. The high line leads to that error, causes Cubarsí to make that error. There we go. We're down 2-0. We have to make a comeback. Constantly having to make comebacks. That is not a good thing. Second leg, we start off perfectly, right? You have to keep going like that. You have to keep going. The job is not finished. Okay? Even if you're up 2-0, do you need to keep the same intensity? No, but you need to drop back a little. You need to alter the way you play. You can't always play the same exact way. So first off, performance, did we deserve to go through? No, we did not. Hansi Flick says that we do, but we did not. Atletico were better than us. Throughout both legs, they were better than us. Okay, so performance, that's the first part. Second part, players. Cubarsí makes that error. Is he forced to make that error? Yes, but he has the choice to let it go. So the players play a huge part. Also, not finishing chances. Rashford not finishing chances. Even Ferran in the first leg not finishing chances. Fermin not finishing chances. Olmo. All this plays a part. Not finishing chances also plays a huge role, because you score more goals, you have more of a cushion, right? You prevent more goals, you have more of a cushion. It's a two-way street. Okay. the defensive structure, tactics, it's horrendous, horrific. We've seen this since the end of last season, right? With Inigo Martinez, people are like, "Oh, we lost Inigo. Obviously, we got worse in defense." No, it's not just Inigo. This system is horrible. Inigo played a huge part of that because he was phenomenal, right? But this system, I don't care who you buy. I don't care you buy Bastoni, Saliba. I don't care who. Obviously, they're gonna do better, right? But this defensive system is not for this defensive system does not do the defense any favors. Always puts them in these bad positions. Always to make the same errors, to concede the same goals, to keep the goalkeeper one-on-one. This whole season, our defense has been horrible, horrific, horrendous, how atrocious, however you want to put it. We simply cannot defend well. Why? Because this high line is a huge part of it. Our players are a part of it, yes, but this high line is a huge part of it. I'm not saying that we need to abandon this system because this system allows us to play the way that we do, attack the way that we do. But when you're conceding so many goals, and when you're setting horrible records, I'll put the stats up here. There's a huge problem that it escapes the players, okay? I don't care if you're putting the prime 2010 Spain defense, you're putting Italy's best defense. I don't care who you're putting. You're putting prime Inter Milan, 2010. I don't care who you're putting. I don't put prime Atletico Madrid. I don't care if you put the same back line. If you're using this system, they're gonna suffer. And this is what's happening. And this is why signings won't change that much if the system doesn't change either. Now, do we need better players? We do. We need more depth. But the system needs to change first. That is clear. You defend better. You now you defend deeper, right? Means that your attack will be deeper as well. Okay, it all shifts. But I think you need to adjust the game. Hansi Flick tends not to do that. He tends to just have one game plan, right? Player style. If it goes well, good. If it doesn't, what are we gonna do, right? We'll try the next leg. That's not how football works. If you want to win competitions like the Champions League, you need to adapt, and he does not. We're up. We're tied 2-2, right? We've had many occasions to make it 3-2, and you continue to keep that egregious high line. Why? What is the point? We had like what? We had like 70 minutes if you want to count 70, 60 minutes to do something. That is very doable. Just drop back a little bit. Drop back the high line a little bit. Koundé isn't fast. Gerald Martin isn't fast. I'm talking in terms of football players. They're not fast players. Even Inigo wasn't fast, but he was incredibly smart. So it comes down to 5 things actually. It comes down to our performance, comes down to the players, comes down to the tactics, and I guess this leads on to tactics. So either 4 or 5 reasons, depending on how you look at it. Our defensive structure. Then it comes down to referee decisions. I'm putting referee decisions as the last reason why we lost, why we keep losing. Because the referee decisions, if you're playing incredibly well, the referee decisions have to be oh so bad. I'm talking about a Madrid type level robbery for it to affect you that much. Okay? Now that that's over, now I'm gonna go over the referee decisions for both sides. In favor of Barcelona, against Barcelona, in favor of Madrid, against Madrid. Atletico Madrid. Alright, first of all, to start off, this Cubarsí red card, it's a red, okay? This isn't the best angle, but it's clearly a red, okay? Then I'll goal scoring opportunity, man down, okay? He does not have complete control of the ball. Simeone doesn't, but take out Cubarsí from the equation, give him 1-2 seconds, it's 1v1. Red card, no controversy there. Here, I'll link the laws of the game below, but essentially, Musso starts the play. Defender touches the ball with his hand. Handball. Now, according to the laws of the game, that is a handball. Personally, I don't care. This is a stupid call. If they called it, it'd be 100% stupid, even though it'd be right by the book. That's all I need to say about that, okay? Alright, now, this is the best I can do. This video is great on compiling everything that happened, and then I'll give my opinion on it, okay? So on Instagram, I've muted. Have I muted? Yeah, I've muted myself because it's just plain she knows, okay? We go, right? This referee. Right here, that's a blatant yellow, dude. Right there, dude, that's a yellow, okay? Koke yellow. That's a yellow. Okay, the Norman yellow. Koke, now, you don't want to say that's a yellow card? Sure, okay? But that's a warning at least. That's something. Oh yeah, that's that. We already covered that, okay? Tackles almost without touching the ball. I guess, yeah, that could be a foul. This one is iffy, okay? I wouldn't give a card for that. That one is a foul 100%. This one, yeah, it's a foul. Oh yeah, that's the second leg, okay. Here we have Koke should have been sent off, okay? At least Koke should have been sent off. He's not there for the second leg. That affects a lot. Okay. But essentially, I think that's pretty much it, right? The first leg, you cover the red card, you cover the penalty, you cover the referee. The referee was horrendous. Referee dropped by UEFA for the rest of the season after the controversial decision in Barcelona's Champions League loss to Atletico Madrid. This referee, Itzvan Kovacs. Man, what a performance, dude. What a performance. I don't know, from the start, right? From the first controversial play with the Kubarsi giving Kubarsi a yellow card when it's clearly a red. To then drop them, like to have UEFA, UEFA which have organized competitions in the past, which I have strong opinions about, but we're not going to go into right now. To be dropped for his controversial decisions, key officiating error. This 100%, dude. 100%. This is probably what honestly cost him, not all the fouls and stuff. Maybe even the penalty itself cost him because it's in the rules of the game. It's a penalty and then potentially red card or yellow card, however you want to view it. But here, this is a bad call. Any referee from any level, especially an officially UEFA licensed referee, giving a yellow card for this play, it's 100% red. You do not need VAR for this. Or, yeah, Flick was furious. Of course he's going to be furious. Your high line, there's no problem with your defense. It's that you're going to call about some penalty call. Whatever. Okay? And that's it for the first leg, okay? We already covered all the errors. Okay, 100% goes on Kubarsi, Flick, Rashford, all these players are missing these chances, okay? It's not just one factor, okay? Main factor is how we play and the performance and goalkeeper and player errors, okay? The referees do play a huge part in this, okay? You have red and red, 10 on 10. Because Barcelona playing phenomenally, it didn't even seem like they had 10 men. But you play 10 on 10, we're talking about a completely different game here. Okay? Now, on to the second leg. Okay, now for the second leg, I'm going to go retroactively, okay? I'm going to go from the end to the start, okay? It's a little bit unorthodox, but whatever. Now, this second leg was in the Wanda Metropolitano, Atletico Madrid's home, and I thought it was impossible, right? And Barcelona proved to me that it was very possible. They still didn't get it done, but it was very possible. Now, Clement Turpin, the referee that officiated this match, before this match, I thought he was phenomenal, right? One of the best in the world. Officiated a bunch of World Cup matches. I think he even officiated Peru versus New Zealand 2017 for the continental qualifiers. I had held him to a high regard, right? But this was a horrible performance as well. Not as bad as the other dudes, but this one I think was still pretty bad. from both sides, he missed a lot of calls, but I also do think it also had a lot to do with VAR not calling them, or VAR you can't call it unless it's like a penalty, red card, or something like that. But the use of VAR is insane, dude. But I don't blame him 100% for all these calls. But I do think a lot of them are iffy. Okay, Eric Garcia, right? I think it's 79th minute. This is a good angle, but I'll pull up some more images. Right here. This is actually a horrible angle, but Eric Garcia fouls Sorloth. Do I think it's a denial of a goal scoring opportunity? Yes. Eric Garcia is more intentional in making this foul than Kubarsi is. Judging from this clip, Koundé is not getting there, dude. If you saw Koundé from that first goal, Koundé is not getting there, okay? Koundé speeds up after the foul's committed because he realized, oh shoot, if I show up, maybe they give Eric Garcia yellow. Okay, this is a red card, okay? Clear red card. I don't care about no technical. It's a red card. Bladen, last day, okay? You could say Koundé's close. He's close. Is he making it there? No. Watching Koundé this game, even just this game, he's not making it there. Watching him the whole season, he's not making it there. Okay, will Sorloth score? I don't know. We honestly do not know. But there is a chance that he misses it. He's whiffed balls before that seem like they're just tap-ins, Sometimes I've seen him, he's right in front of the goal, it just shoots straight up, You never know with Sorloth. But it's Barcelona, so he probably would have scored. Okay, either way, the game was done by then. 79th minute, it's whatever. That red card, it was whatever. It just... I think the comeback was still possible because Barcelona still played well and they still had chances after this, which is still insane. Okay, but this obviously makes it harder. Okay, on to the next. Now, this one just blows my mind, okay? Now, obviously with the clip it's better, but you look at these two images, right? Llorente has him from the back. I think he does a light push or whatever. And then you have Koke, putting his arm out, and then he immediately puts it away, right? But not even looking at any clip just yet. Just looking at this, you have someone pushing you in the back. Even if it's light, you have someone pushing you in the back. You have Koke about to grab you, or is grabbing you. I don't know, dude, that looks like a penalty to me. Now we have right here, I'll link this YouTube video in the comments right here, yeah. Obviously he has contact, and then he's gonna collide with Koke. I'm telling you, how is this not a penalty? Makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. I feel like if this was the other way around, this is 100% counted as a penalty as well. Okay, so there's two things to view here with this offside, right? So first off, we have Varane is offside when he's offside in this position. Yes, 100%. Okay, and then here's the graphic, that we all love to see. Okay, and then yes, right here he's citing the laws of the game, as I will do right now. It is an offense if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, for example, moving the hand/arm towards the ball. Now, what he's talking about here is, which I don't think, right here, right? That's Lenglet, right? Has his hand out here. Now, if it touched that one and then it blocked 100% the penalty, 100%. But right here, he's going down, right? His hand's right here. Okay. Now that's the first deflection. Yep. Here's a clear image, right? Touches his arm. It's the lower point of his arm, but let's see. Deliberately touches the ball with their hand or forearm. For example, moving the hand/arm towards the ball. Okay, is he moving towards the ball? He's not. Okay, he has his eyes closed. He's sliding down. Touches the ball with their hand/arm, which has made their body unnaturally bigger. Has it made it naturally bigger? I think if I could get a 360 view, like this. Okay, let's say this. Obviously, if you're sliding it, it's a different conversation. But this versus this, it's iffy. Now, is it unnaturally bigger? It's not unnatural. It's not unnatural to put your hand or arm out like that when you're sliding. But it's considered to have made their body naturally when the position of the arm is not a consequence or justifiable by the player's movement for a specific situation. Sliding it is. By their arm in such a position, the player takes the risk of their arm being hit by the ball, being penalized. Okay. So, okay, scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper immediately after the ball is touched arm, even accidental. Goalkeeper has the same restrictions of handling the ball side of the. So, right here, we look at this language. Should this have been a penalty? We looked at the laws of the game. Laws of the game say no. If you ask me, I think I'll say no as well. Okay, he's sliding. Okay, and it's always iffy with these calls. Okay, I myself am not sure if this is a penalty or not, but I think part of me says that it is, but then the other part of me says that it's not, and I think watching an actual clip does help a lot because just looking at images, that's not how we watch football. Okay, look at that. Da, 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 da. Okay, you're pausing, then boom, right here. I think you could very well call a penalty for handball, but also it'd be extremely harsh. Okay, so I'm split on this decision. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the referee there because there's many things there, but you call offside. Probably calling offside is the right call. Ferran starters offside. It's offside. Okay, there's nothing else to really discuss except Lenglet. It's unfortunately offside. Okay, we move on. I guess one thing to also discuss is that because of this Lenglet hand, ball goes up, falls on Ferran. Now, when it comes to deflections, that is something else. Now we're looking at the deflection, okay? Here again, we're citing the laws. A player in an outside position receiving the ball from an opponent who deliberately played the ball. That's important. Including by deliberate handball is not considered to have gained advantage unless it was deliberate save by any opponent. Okay. Deliberately played. Now, what does deliberately play mean? Excluding deliberate handball, which means like whacking the ball, is when the player has control of the ball with the possibility of passing the ball to a teammate. Lenglet didn't have that attention. All he has the intention is to do a block. Gaining possession of the ball, he didn't gain possession, clearing the ball. Now, if clearing the ball, an example is kicking or heading it, he wasn't kicking, he wasn't heading it, he wasn't trying to clear the ball, he was trying to simply block it. Okay? If the pass attempt to gain possession clearance by the player is inaccurate and successful, this does not negate the fact that the player deliberately played the ball. That's saying that. Oh yeah. That's saying that. Let's say Lenglet he tries to pass it right. He whiffs the pass, falls on the Barca player that was offside, and then boom, he scores. Then it doesn't negate the fact that you tried a deliberate play, just that you failed. So then it wouldn't be offside. Okay. There's no offside within that. Okay, and then here we have the following criteria should be used as appropriate as indicators that a player was in control of the ball and as a result can be considered to have deliberately played the ball. The ball traveled from distance and the player had a clear view of it. Lenglet had no clear view, he even closed his eyes. Ball was not moving quickly. The ball was definitely moving quickly. Direction of the ball was not unexpected. It was definitely expected. The player had time to coordinate their body movement. It was not a case of instinct traction or jumping, or the movement that achieved minimal contact control. It achieved limited contact. As you saw, it almost led to the game-winning goal. It was honestly 100% instinctive to just slide. A ball moving on the ground is easier to play than the ball in the air, 100%. So yeah, it's he didn't do any of these. It wasn't deliberate, okay? Had Lenglet been standing there, right? Kicks the ball, tries to pass it, right? And instead of passing it to Griezmann, just for example, Griezmann's right there, passing it to Griezmann, right? Somehow, some way, kicks it, passes it to Ferran instead. Ferran scores. Ferran was an offside, but it came from Lenglet. And from a deliberate play, then we have a goal, okay? But because of this, it's not a because it's not deliberate, it's not a goal. And then we have the handball. Okay, you do this in any other play, it's a handball. Okay, but since he's sliding, there's special rules. So no goal, offside, unfortunately correctly disallowed. Alright, now when it comes to our glorious keeper, Johan Garcia, we got two plays that involve him, okay? Number one, right here, this image, this kind of as best as it's gonna get, okay? Now when we look at this image, right, we wanna zoom in. Okay, got it. Okay, the ball, it's like it's on the line, right? We would treat it the same as a goal line clearance or whatever. It's on the line, you know. But being that this angle, you know, it's kind of like from a, I wouldn't say a bird's eye view, but it looks like from down there, right? It's deceiving, you know. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know if it's on or off. If it's off, it should have been called. If it's on, like just keep it as is. That's all I'm gonna say regarding that. Alright, so when it comes to the back pass, there is a back pass between Frankie de Jong passing back to Johan Garcia. Simply, it's an indirect free kick. Should be, if you want to say yellow card, indirect free kick. Because if we're following the same logic as before, a failure to commit does not negate the intent. So, Johan Garcia tried to commit. He tried to grab the ball, right? He didn't commit to it because he failed to do it. It slipped out of his hands, but he tried to grab the ball. Well, it was a pass back. Yep, that's a, if you want to call it, a yellow card and a free kick. Alright, so next action is Musso and Fermin. Now, what happens is Yamal does a Trivela pass, and then Fermin, he does a diving header, and then Musso saves it with the side of his stomach, if you want to say, and then he extends his legs as well and arms, trying to, you're trying to make yourself as big as possible. Okay, this is incidental. Okay, is it a natural position? For a goalkeeper, you try to make yourself as big as possible. Uh, it is unfortunate because Fermin got extremely hurt and it killed our momentum so much. But I don't think this is a penalty at the end of the day. No penalty, no red card. It is harsh. But also, what saved Musso is that he did save the ball. If he didn't save it at all, I think we're having a different conversation. It's at least a yellow card and penalty. So many calls, that so many inconsistencies. With all the resources that are available, this shouldn't be happening. These guys study the law. They should know the law. I'm just a random dude. These guys should know the law. They should. There shouldn't be this much discussion. Okay, just the fact that there is so many controversial plays, there shouldn't be this much discussion. Okay. I'm talking from both sides when it comes to Johan Garcia, his handling of the ball twice. Then you have the Olmo penalty. You have this potential Fermin and Musso right here, that you have a potential penalty red card. You have this red card. This is a clear red card. Okay, that's fine. Or even you could argue that Kunde could have made it there. The thing is that's consistent with at least this leg is that a lot of these calls, well, I'm not going to say 50-50, a lot of these calls were hard to make. So that's in a way sympathizing with the referee. Now, does that justify his performance? Not at all. 100% no. I'm just saying, just trying to think. looking at this from a holistic perspective, these two games just prove the high line needs to go. Now, should it leave 100%? No. You move the high line, right? You shift the midfield and attack change as well. Our attack is phenomenal, right? Even then, it could be better with making chances, right? That comes with better players. But you don't always have to keep that high line consistent, you know? Koundé and Gerard Martin were on Atletico's half before Lookman's goal. Was it Lookman? I think it was Lookman, yes. Koundé's not fast enough. Gerard Martin's not fast enough to stop him. That is a horrible position to be in. And let's say that Koundé was there, but he was a little bit delayed, just like what happened with Kubarsi, what happened with Eric Garcia. Then you're forced again, either let them go or do another red card challenge. This high line cannot maintain the same. You can't keep it the same way. Hansi Flick has one plan: play the high line. We're gonna play as we always do. If it goes well, fantastic. If it doesn't go well, we have to do better the second half. That's not how things work. And especially in the Champions League, you need to adapt. It's 2-2. Simply push it back a little bit. Push back the high line a little bit, the defense a little bit. Okay? Keep trying to attack. Keep the same intent. Try to keep the same intensity, right? Until you score 1-2 more goals. Right? But no, you have to keep this high line. They score one goal in this leg. And that's the goal that knocked you out. So, I'm just pleading, you know? You don't have to remove the high line completely, but adapt your play according to the situation, right? You don't need to be so stubborn. Keep the high line 100%. You don't need the high line 100%, okay? We saw versus Inter how horrible the defense was as well. 7 goals conceded to Inter. This is a defensive team. And you see how we've lost to defensive-minded teams. I'd say in like quotations because they scored a bunch against us still. And Atletico Madrid, especially the second leg, they tried to they weren't parking the bus. They're trying to give us an equal game, okay? They 100% parked the bus, but it's not. We're not talking about like this isn't like a park the bus like in the 3-0 Copa del Rey second leg. No, they parked the bus when they needed to. They got the job done. Okay, it was something that we cannot do. Okay, Hansi Flick, we have to appreciate him. Okay. Obviously, it helped the development from that Xavi provided, the foundation that Xavi provided. Flick built on top of that. But without Flick, I don't even know where we'd be. Okay, now honestly, Xavi, if it wasn't for Araujo, who knows? Who knows? We're having a different conversation. We don't know what would have happened that year. But Flick gave us a domestic treble. Flick got us to a semifinal after so long. Flick, once again, we're on the road to win 2 titles this season. Now, do I care about the titles that much? In the moment, yes. In the moment, I love the Super Copa because that's the beginning of the season as well. You have high hopes. I always knew we weren't going to win the Champions League, but I expected much more from this team. 100% much more. And this defense just gets worse and worse. We'll see what happens with signings. We have to give the praise and the proper props to Hansi Flick for doing so much with this side. This side is overachieved, but it's underachieved. It's overachieved in the sense that he's had barely any signings, and he's consistently fighting for titles with this squad, which it isn't a weak squad, but it's not perfect 100%. He's done the best he could, but he could have done better. How? Adjust the defense a little bit. We beat Inter Milan last year. Now, do I think we win the Champions League? I don't think so. But we get to the final. That's a step forward. And we beat Atletico Madrid this year. And who knows? Maybe we even beat Arsenal if Arsenal are still playing badly and then we're at our best. But if Arsenal's at their best and we're at our best, it's a tight match. But my point is we've overachieved. Hansi Flick has overachieved, right? Maybe another manager would have struggled 100% more. But he's also underachieved because even with all the cards missing, even with all the pieces that are yet to be filled, we could have done more. That potential was there. it just takes a little bit of humbleness, stop being stubborn, stop crying about referees, and that's ironic because what I've done, right? I've tried to be as impartial as I could, and it's ironic. But what I mean is crying to the referees, making a complaint to UEFA. They're not gonna do anything. If they complain, if they say, like this was a penalty, so what? They apologize and that's it. They're not gonna change the result. So why don't you focus on yourself? Look at footage. What is going on? Why do we concede the same goals? Is it the players or it might be the high line? It's a mixture of both. Okay, so performance, defensive structure, high line, players, and then referees last. Okay, these are the reasons why we can't win UCL. Okay, I mostly boil it down to players and tactics. Okay, you can't be conceding so much. I'm actually gonna pull up these stats. Give me 1 second. I'll put it on the screen as well. Okay. So, FC Barcelona has gone 15 matches in a row in the Champions League without a clean sheet. That is horrific. That means this year and then a little bit of last season. That is the most any Spanish team in the history of the UCL. Will it continue? We'll see next year, We'll see if Hansi Flick decides to stop being stubborn. Another one. Barcelona's 2025-2026 UCL season. 0 clean sheets. 3 red cards. Conceded a goal versus every team faced. Out of the 3 red cards, 2 of them were caused by the high line. Or the players felt forced to cause it by the high line. Did they have to? No. But they felt forced to because it's either like I do a foul now or we get conceded now. And between those trade-offs, just let it go, dude. Okay? Take the goal conceded. Defend better. Okay, you don't leave us a man down. Okay? This is insane. Oh, here's the image. I'm gonna pull it up. You see, is it Gerald Martin or it's Eric? Okay, you see Eric and Kunde? This is insane, dude. Why are they so high up? And this is how we concede the only goal we concede in the second leg. It costs us so much. It's so shambolic. Okay? So all those things need to change. You can't change the referee. There's always going to be mistakes, always going to be inconsistencies. So you need to play the best you can. Barcelona is not doing that. This whole season, defensively, has been horrific, atrocious, horrendous. However you want to put it, it's been. You've seen something like this coming. Okay, I knew we weren't gonna win the Champions League. We're not gonna win it anytime soon if we don't get the proper signings and if Hansi Flick does not tweak the defensive system. Okay, that's it. I hope some of you found some enjoyment out of my analysis. It's not perfect either, but I'm just here sharing my opinion, about what I think about these 2 controversial games. Props to Atletico Madrid. They were better than us throughout both legs. They deserve to go through, and we'll see what happens with FC Barcelona. Okay, let's see if they learn from their mistakes. Whoever thought this was a good idea, LeBron, stealing the LeBron meme and making it as Barcelona, you're the reason why we lost. 100%.